You're on the channel of the Desert Shaman. Well, I did a video yesterday playing my drum, just having fun with it, and I think I found the formula for getting more viewers. Keep it short and just play the drums and keep my mouth shut. I think that might be a good formula. But all kidding aside, I would like to talk a little bit about my last video playing this drum. And now, normally, this is a frame drum here. This would be used in a lot of native ceremonies just with a monotonous rhythm over and over and over again, trance state stuff, which is good. So this drum is important in that regard, okay, in the fact that you can put yourself in a trance state just playing simple rhythms. Now, as a drummer, I told you before, I have been playing since the second grade and have played in all kinds of jazz groups and Latin jazz groups, and I've played drums, the drum set mostly, probably 90% of the time, and the other 10% I was playing Latin congas, maybe more than that, maybe 15%. But I'm going to talk about this drum today, and see now, being that I've been a musician all my life and a drummer, also I play Native American flute from time to time. I've been known to. But having said that, when I approached this drum, well, a long time I just had this drum hanging on my wall to look at the Thunderbird in it. But when I decided one day in my shamanistic playing, or to explore more of the shamanistic playing, I took this drum off the wall and I thought, I'm gonna do a little bit more research on this drum because I always like to do research. And I started coming up with all kinds of videos about what this is. Well, I knew what it was, but when I searched frame drums on YouTube, I came up with all kinds of things. Now, I have never played the frame drum in the way that I have lately been seeing that it is played. Okay, let me explain this. The frame drum is used in all kinds of South Indian drumming, and Moroccan drumming, and South India, Tunisia, places like that have been using this drum in a completely different manner than what I have been exposed to concerning this drum. And so I always go in with, I want to learn everything I can about this style of drumming. Now, I did dabble a little bit back in the 60s when I had long hair, and I still got long hair. When I was in the 60s, I played with the messed around with tabla, okay, which is an Indian drum that is played along with the sitar, which I'm sure you've heard of. Okay, I messed around with that, and I messed around with the concept of the fingers, using the fingers a lot. Okay, and even when I played my drum set, at times I would just put the sticks away and play with my fingers. Okay, and that seemed to be a very creative way to get different sounds out of the drum. Now, with this frame drum, I'm learning that the same techniques that you would use on tabla, and even some of the same techniques that you would use on kunga drums, which are Latin Latin jazz, Latin percussion, kungas. You've seen those, I'm sure. So anyway, as I'm picking up this drum and messing around with it, that little drum video I did yesterday, I consider completely, I won't say amateur, no, I won't say amateur, because I'll say amateur in a sense of me feeling out what the frame drum is all about, okay? I have the natural rhythms as a drummer, and let me explain how some of these things are used on the frame drum. And as I go along and as I get better familiar with using this drum in that way, I will make additional videos, and you can see my progress or lack of progress or whatever. But I do intend on incorporating the drum probably into all my videos, starting it off just doing anything, just for a few seconds. Now, as a drummer, as a, starting off, in band and in that whole deal, you learn the rudiments, okay? You learn finger movements, not finger movements, it's stick movements, okay? And these rudiments came from Europe and the escadrille and all that stuff, marching band style and all that kind of stuff. It came from that, okay, the rudiments did. And there's 13 basic rudiments that you learn as a drummer, 26, and then there's a whole bunch, 26 in all, and then there's a whole bunch of other things that you learn as a drummer, like stick control, and George Lawrence Stone had a whole book on using triplets for stick control and that kind of thing. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm experimenting with different rhythms that are rudiments, let's say, okay, rudiments, and then I'm experiencing and I'm learning a whole new drum language with the South Indian drumming, which has a language that you sing to yourself at the same time that you're playing, and it goes like tick-ta, 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 ta, tick-ta, ta, tick-ta, or doom, 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 ta-kita, 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 doom, ta-kita, ta-kita, ta-kita. So it has a language that is beneficial for you to learn. Now, me being a drummer for so many years, I start in on stuff and I'm learning. Now there's basic techniques that you need to learn in order to play the drums in a South Indian fashion. And one of these things is called the split hand. I really don't have the cameras for this, but the split hand is using two sides of your same hand and rocking it back and forth. And so I'm learning that technique. I'm not perfect on that yet, but I'm getting there. And then you bounce your thumb you rock your hand that way. That's new to me. And so the whole key with that is totally relaxing, totally just, and when you feel tension up here, it's a really good for relieving tension, because as soon as you start getting tense up here, you start feeling, and your playing is affected, and your energy flow and all that stuff is affected by it. So anyway, like I said before, I've always been using my fingers, and you can use them to play the rudiments. Like this is a long stroke roll, mama da da, mama da da, mama da da. So you can, I'm exploring that way, and then there's different ways to express the rudiments, okay? Say like the paradiddle or the double paradiddle, which is one of the rudiments that I'm talking about. You can use those, and if you know, I've also been experimenting around with the beater rather than just doing a steady, you know, shamanic, let's say, drum beat. You can experiment around. That is a paradiddle, so it's right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. You may not understand some of the things that I'm doing here because it's hard to hear on the setup I got, but you're using a paradiddle. You're playing half and half with this hand and the right hand, so. And then you can vary it by playing double paradiddles or triple paradiddles. You know. So I'm just kind of ad-libbing here, but and then you can throw in another rudiment like a rhythmic cue, which uses a rough and a triplet. But see, you're only getting one side. With the beater, you're hearing the dominant thing is the beater, so that can be used as a kind of a shamanistic repetitive thing. You can use it that way. So it's a repetitive thing, but it's not just the. And that'll take you to another place, just like the South Indian drumming, the tiki-ta, tiki-ta. You can mix these things up, and I start ad-libbing. I mean, even though I don't know the correct technique, I know what feels natural, and they have the cupped technique. You can use the thumb, you can use the fingers, and then you can do rolls with the hand. And in my last video I'm rocking between this finger and this thumb. And then you can create rolls with your fingers by succession. Or you can do it by pulling in. There's all kinds of. One of my big faults right now is I want to play harder and I want to get into it, but that's actually a mistake. It would be better to be completely relaxed and let the energy flow. Now I know all these different rhythms, and then another thing that I use, or I'm going to try to apply to this drum, and I'll keep you posted. You can, I'll keep you updated on what I'm doing here, but use Latin rhythms on the edge of the drum, because it's like a rim shot, you know. You got the higher. And you use different fingers. You can use the ring finger. And you can do your And then there's, so you can use all kinds of concepts. I'm seeing that right now. So you can use the Latin, you can mix it with the South Indian. Now most of these guys are real purists, and they, you know, if you're South Indian, you're South Indian, and you're going to play that way, okay? And so I want to discipline myself enough to be able to do that. But on the other hand, why waste all the other rhythms and things that I've learned through Latin rhythms and rudiments, and then you just combine it all with the drum speak. I'll call it drum speak, you know, ta ki ta boom, you know, see, I'm still working on it. And I've had my own language, okay. Here's another thing that's a challenge for me, because as a drummer, I made up my own language for that. I mean, it didn't have to necessarily be takita, it could be tick-tock, you know, it could be, as long as you're getting that tongue moving, and as long as you're thinking about the deep sounds and the high sounds, doesn't matter what drum language you use, you're hearing it in your head anyway. Like, I might not even be saying it, but am I hearing? Well, obviously, because it's coming out, right? So when you get to that point where you don't even have to think about it. You don't even have to think about it. I know so many rhythms. The problem is allowing these rhythms to come out on this drum rather than a drum set or a set of kungas or whatever. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now, and I want to do, you know, I thought it was, yeah, it kind of blew my mind that I do one drum video for 3 minutes, and it's like I get more views in the first, whatever. They probably watch the whole thing, which is a good thing too, you know. So this is telling me something here. This is telling me that, you know, I come on here and I flap my mouth a lot about shamanism and raising your consciousness and all that stuff. And I've been doing that for years. And I've been talking about world events for years. And I've been talking about all these things that aren't the direct source. Duh. You know, the direct source is me. I'm going to get enough proficiency on this, and I might bring in my little kunga and play that too on its side as an Eastern South Indian drum. But I'm going to just keep messing around and getting more comfortable. You know, I'm just going to mess around with this and play around with it, and get to the point where I'm going to start putting up videos that'll really have some technical meaning, let's say. Technical meaning and cultural meaning. So I'm going to keep messing around with this. And you can do the same thing. I mean, pick up a frame drum, look into it. Oh, and there's another way I forgot to tell you that you can play this thing, is by holding it up, so you can actually dance around, you know, and you can learn how to balance it. See, I'm a rank amateur compared to some of these guys. Not rhythmically. I'm way ahead of the game on a lot of these guys. But the thing is, the basic hand movements and that stuff, I'm getting it. It's moving in that direction. When I feel comfortable with it, I'll be coming on here and kicking some ass. And you're probably not going to believe it, but I'm getting comfortable with it right now. So I thought that I would make this short video as a caveat to that last little journey, the previous video. oh man, I'm playing my shaman's drum, or I'm having fun playing my shaman's drum. Well, I am, but I want to get, I want to actually share this with you, okay? And I know that you don't have the background that I have with all these rudiments and all this stuff. So I'll come on here and I might teach you a thing or two, just a basic, something simple rhythmically that you can do. And, just part of the program here, just part of what I do. I jump all over the place. 1 minute, man, I'll be talking about the world and all this stuff, and then I might be talking about raising your consciousness. But I think the best thing that I can do right now is to actually share ways that that you can raise your consciousness through drums and music and just getting out of the normal bullshit. So anyway, I'm not gonna get long-winded today. I'm just gonna leave it there. Adios.